Welcome to the podcast where we speak truth, illuminate power, and fully embody who the fuck we are. This is the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. We are all about spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, talking about the things that may be controversial, even some triggering concepts, but we are all about expansion. Come on in and join us as we reclaim and recenter ourselves in the power of who we really are. We are the Light Warriors, and welcome to the revolution.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 118 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And we are hitting it into the park these days. So we're coming up close. The guest episodes start at 120. I was going to weave a guest episode in here. I'm going to see what lands this week. But literally next Tuesday, I'm going to do 2 episodes this week of the podcast. Next Tuesday, we launch into the guest episodes. And guys, they bring the heat. Every single one of them is stepping up and stepping in to serve you. And I am just so fucking excited to serve you with this energy in the space of it all. And I just wanted to step in to tell you how grateful I am that you guys are here. I share a bit of stories in the podcast episode today about our intentional light and about holding that light into the world and what that means for you and what that means for humanity and what the connection points are inside of this. And then, you know me, I move through random stories and all different kinds of other things in the space of it all. But I'm like, I really feel this deeply. Doubt's no longer an energy we can play within, let's say, or you can choose today to release it so that you can live in the beautiful expanded light that you want. And just like all the time, and how I say it often is like, we get this choice. And so there's another choice moving through this episode for you. Take it, leave it, move with it, grow with it, expand with it, put it in the garbage, delete it, undownload it, whatever it is you're feeling to do with this. But I come to you with an open heart, like always, in the expression of what this means. And I'm just really grateful you're here listening. So no further ado, episode 118, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Well, we are moving through life. Let's just say that coming out of the gate of this episode. And I don't know about you, but as I have discovered, moving through next levels is bringing up a lot of shit in my energetic field to deal with. And it's really kind of fun that we sometimes as humans make decisions in our world to live life a certain way. We make decisions to eat certain ways. We make decisions to hang out with people in certain ways. We make decisions on where we live in life and what this means for us and all the dynamics of this world. And I want to emphasize, we also make decisions to move through our pain, to deal with our decisions in life, to let go. Let go is a big one right now. And to actually claim the energetic field that we desire. I've done multiple podcasts on this over the last few episodes about claiming the life that you want. And I came up against my own limitations last week in the conversations in my mind. And, it's a really cool thing. Like, we get mentors and coaches and guides in our world for reasons. And we are intuitively drawn to certain people in certain times in our life for certain things as we move through certain landscapes of stuff, right? So it's like following that calling, number one, and trusting the calling when it comes in, number two, are key dynamics, which we don't understand potentially when they're happening. But when we lead in this energy and when we allow ourselves to take action when it drops in, it's setting ourselves up for later down the road. So I have been claiming, and in the energetic field of claiming this next level of energy and moving it through and being a part of it and maneuvering with it and like literally expanding in the energetic field with it. And as that happens, I'm coming up against ceilings that are past limitations, that are past experiences, that are past belief systems that are requiring me to do work around. Whether it's shifting energy work, whether it's acknowledgement work, whether it's healing work. And last week, I came up against this ceiling that I'm like, I don't think this is going to fucking work. Like, why is it now? Why is this the time now? What is this? Blah, 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 blah. All the bullshit that I've said to myself to be like, this isn't going to work. And I kept hearing that whisper, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So the first thing I did was I reached out to my mentor, who I decided to take on for another 30-day container. So we worked within a week span. And then I said yes to 30 days together because something said, this is going to be an asset for you. So I just sent her a message and I said, I consciously am aware, because I am consciously aware. Okay. I've done a lot of work around this. I know this storyline. I understand what this means in the world. I get it. I get it. But I'm coming up against this. Like I'm literally hitting the ceiling in this space. Is there anything you have to say to me about this? And I just went, blah. 1 minute voice note. It wasn't a long time. I didn't drag it out. I didn't like be all in my victim energy. I just said, this is what I'm feeling. I know this isn't true. However, this is coming up and I just need to kick it out. And she's like, girl, you need to put a line in the sand. Like, because part of the energy was that I would always be hard, that it would always be struggle. And somewhere in my energetic line, this energy of always being hard was embedded in my energetic field for generations. Like I can even look at my grandmother and how she worked, and she had 10 kids and she was still working. Like 10 kids just to make ends meet to get by. Like that is crazy. Okay, if you think about that. But that energy is ingrained in my energetic field, in the energy, but we don't even realize sometimes that the energy isn't ours. It's past limitations, it's past life, it's ancestral claimings, it's ancestral imprints that have come into the energetic field to say this is the outcome. And so she kicked the energy into the field where she's like, girl, you need to put a line in the sand and decide right now that that isn't the life that you're desiring anymore, that that isn't the story, that that isn't the thing. And I was like, fuck yeah. And she's right. And I know this. However, I needed to have that confirmation come into the field for me to like kick it in. Sometimes the confirmations isn't coming from coaches for us. It's coming from a piece of content we saw. It's coming from a podcast like this. It's coming from a friend who said something to you. But we're all in this gap space right now, moving around into the new levels of energy. And like I've spoken before, it's about claiming that life and being all in, whatever that means for you in the space of this awareness, right? Whatever that is for you in this energetic capacity for you to move through. And as I dove into this last week, I was like, fuck. I was like, I really am in this energy space of like, and it's not about becoming anything because we already all have it in us, but it's about remembering. So who do I have to remember to be? Who do I have to remember to be? And Tony's like, yeah, seriously, who do you have to remember to be? So all of the imprints of the life you desire to live, of the things that you want, of the things you're meant to teach in the world, of the pathways are already inside of you. And the spiritual journey is about activating them again, remembering them, going into that space to move them through, allowing them to come to life, right? And this is what we call the work. And a lot of you have heard me speak into this before, and I probably have done it on podcasts, but I can't even remember what I did yesterday, never mind what I spoke about even last week, which I think is even funner. Here I am showing up in my full raw vulnerability in the space of everything to be like, look, I don't have all the answers, nor do I pretend to be. However, I do have some of the answers, and some of you are looking for some of the answers. That's why you're listening to this podcast, and it's moving an energy through in your field as an accelerator, as a remembrance, as an activator, as just a confirmation for some of you, right? And it's like every single one of us that comes into an energetic field, whether that's you follow someone on social media, whether that's you listen to their podcast, you join programs, you're in their offerings, is taking a certain level of action coming through for messages. We are all conduits of a message in the world, whether that's you telling your friend over bingo on Saturday night, or whether that is you teaching it, or whether that's, you're out on a hike with someone that you haven't seen in a long time and you drop a storyline into their field to consider. We are all conduits. Every single one of us is a conduit. Every single one of us. And all of us are moving energies through into the world. Every single one of us. And if you start to really allow yourself to feel that, to be like, I am a beacon of light. You are. whether that's in the drive-through when you get coffee, or at work when you're there with your teammates, or literally when you're shopping at the grocery store. Some of us have different missions that our beacon is through entrepreneurship and programs and offers and the work we do in the world. And some of us, or all of us actually, are beacons of life into people. Your joy, your laughter, your love radiates into the world, whether that's through your kids, whether that's through how amazing you are as a neighbor. You know, I like look back and now I say that out loud. I'm like, I was a fucking shitty neighbor in most of my life. I didn't know my neighbors most of the time in my world at all, because I purposefully segregated myself from knowing them. I was very much a hermit-like energy. I didn't want to do life that way. I wasn't all in the space of everything, and I didn't want that in my world. And even when I moved here to Costa Rica, it slowly changed. I slowly started to understand community. I slowly started to understand what it felt like to be a part of something and why that was important. When I moved to this house that I'm in now, my neighbors, I would say hi to them every day, and they completely ignored me, like for a long time. And I still kept saying hi to them, and I still kept saying a buena dia, like good morning, and I still kept up on it. And one day when I wasn't home, my market order came early, and they received the order for me. And so I had to go to their house to go get my order. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. The next day I said, hola, they smiled. And then they said, hola back. And I was like, what is happening? But for a while, they thought that my dogs ate their rooster. My dogs are never out of the yard without me, so they didn't eat their rooster. However, I feel like a bird actually ate their rooster and picked it up off the ground and actually dropped it into my yard. And it died on the way down. And I moved the rooster outside of the fence. That's really what happened. So for a long time, they had this premonition of me. Now they actually speak to me. They smile at me. And I'm like, whoa, this is what it's like. Now, I made a vow when I started 75 Hard in September of 2024. I started 75 Hard, and I most of the time brought Lily out for my outdoor walk with me. And I said to myself, I'm going to say hi to everybody. I'm going to talk to everyone. I'm going to say hi to everyone. And that was my objective through this experience, was how can I say hi, break open things, do the stuff. Now, like 4 months later, I have people honk at me on the road. They wave at me from their motorcycles. They say hi to us. I have neighbors that know who I am. I have conversations with them. I walk by a certain restaurant and the guy knows me and we chat. And it's also helping me to expand my Spanish, because almost all those people don't speak English. So it's a lot of more fun for me to be able to try and understand and have a conversation with them. That opened up another space of when I go to the gym and I'm talking to people at the gym and I'm saying hi to people at the gym. And there's these random guys that are talking to me at the gym all the time. It's actually really kind of fun. And it's not from a love perspective, it's from a community perspective. And if I dial this really back to the essence of this conversation with you right now, is that I choose every day, no matter what the repercussion is, no matter what the reaction is, no matter who says what to me, to show up in my light. And I choose that every day. I say hi to people. I wave at people. I do this. I do that. I smile. I am in my life. And although my purpose in life is to light lights, and that's my mission, that's in all avenues of the world. Whether it's through this podcast episode, whether it's through this, whether it's through that, there's no limitation here for us. And you've heard me say before, millions of times, we are our own liberation as we are our own limitation. We play both dualities in the world. Every single time we play both dualities. So I desire you today to allow yourself to feel into this, to be like, where are you limiting yourself right now? And where can you liberate your light more into the world? And I'm not talking about becoming exhausted. And I'm not talking about like suffocating yourself in energy. And I'm not talking about giving it all away if that's not in alignment. I'm talking about aligned light, your beacon, your light, your energy moving through. I'm talking about you stepping in fully to all of you and claiming the life and doing the work and recognizing the patterns and stepping through the cycles and busting them open in the space of everything because you choose to today, because you desire this life, because you're willing to do the work to get it. Most people aren't willing to do the work. They think work is 9-to-5 job. It's not. The work is the inner work here. To realize that you're worthy, to realize that you can have all of it, to realize that you don't have to sacrifice anywhere. And some people are like, well, in relationships, you have to sacrifice. I'm like, no, you don't. You can hold a boundary. You can hold an edge. You can have an understanding. You can make choices for things, but you never sacrifice yourself. And maybe you don't like rock climbing and your husband likes rock climbing. And one day you say yes to it because you know it'd be amazing for him, but you're not sacrificing yourself. You're choosing your relationship and you're choosing to explore and you're choosing to open yourself up to new experiences. If you go in with a different energy to that, to be like, what can I learn about myself here? What does this mean for me? It changes the game. But some of us are so locked into this mindset that's fucking shit up for us that we can't see through it. Or we do see through it, and then we consistently keep choosing the things that we actually don't really want. There's that too. And I'm not here to judge or shame on you. I'm here to open up a conversation today. It's like, how do we move through this? How can you continue to honor this? How can you feel this in your field of awareness today, tomorrow, as you move through next week and allow this to come through? I feel like speaking some light language right now to almost shift some energy for you guys. I'm not going to, but that was what would like, it just dropped in to be like, I was talking dragon for a second. For some of you that don't know, I love dragon energy. I work with the dragon realm a lot. Even yesterday in the Temescal that I was in the fire element, the last door, I imagined the dragon realm breathing fire onto my body to dismantle and clear out anything that needs to go for the next phase and next level. It's like, I don't want to play in doubt anymore. I don't want to play in this misbelief that I have to earn something when I don't, that I can be it, and that's enough. And I feel like that's where I want to end today, because that was a really powerful line. You don't have to earn your life. You could choose to be your life. And that's a whole other energy. So I'll leave you guys on that one. What a beautiful way to end this episode. I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Bye for now.
Well, we know that you like the podcast potentially because you're still here listening to this actual audio at this moment of time. So all that we're going to ask is, can you please just help us share it out? Tag some friends, share it with a friend, help us spread the word, because each of us moving through together as we collaborate, as we move within this light warrior movement, helps each of us illuminate in lights. And we're just so grateful. I'm so grateful. The guests are always so grateful too, that you help us spread the word, that you help us really step into this space to be able to own all of our pathway. And we are just so grateful to have you here. And thank you again for listening.